Exalt Nation, it's the Free Flash, and I'm back with a new video for you today. For today's video, we're going to be continuing our gearing discussion, and we're going to be taking a look at, what possible ways can we build our healers. What are the kind of things that we got to look out for us to be able to make the best decisions on choosing the right kind of gear for our healers so that they can perform optimally in whatever content that we want to put them in. So if we're having a look at my flash wing right here, as you can see, my flash wing is now level 80. It's pretty much everything is maxed out. As you can see, everything says maxed out: transcends, awakening, everything, right? And the gear, I still have to plus 15 all the gear. The only piece of gear that's plus 15 right here is the chest piece, right? But as we go along, we're gonna plus 15 the rest of this. As you see, this one's on plus 13, which is additional HP. So once it's plus 15, it's gonna be it's gonna bring up my total HP from gear to 8,000. And as you can see, this one is on plus 13. Once it's on plus 15, it should be around about, I would assume, about 45% effect resistance. And then this slot right here, I only had at the time an effect accuracy, so I put that on because it had the resistance and it rolled into the resistance like I wanted. But I finally was able to get an effect resistance gear that has the flat HP and defense that I was looking for. So I'm going to replace this one with this one, and then just have about an additional 90% effect resistance put onto my flash wing. Now the reason why I'm going for an effect resistance based flash wing is because I use my flash wing in arena defense and in arena offense, right? So basically, because the meta right now for arena, people are busy using a lot of team compositions that are heavily dependent on poison damage and diminished damage. I want my flash wing to survive long enough in the battle so that she can keep my team alive, and more importantly, so that she can keep my biggest damage dealers alive. And the only way she's going to do that is if she is not getting mortaled by these plague teams, right? So the more effect resistance that you have stacked on her, the more she's going to survive in PvP, right? If I was just building her strictly for Cyclops C6, what I would have done then is I would have actually just focused more on HP scaling versus effect resistance, so to try and stack up as much HP as possible, right? Now the one thing that we know about flash wing, when we have gone through and taken a look at what kind of gear slots she has available, we can quickly see that she has 2 accessory slots, right? Now her having 2 accessory slots, it kind of makes it very difficult to then stack up as much HP as you could do with something like Misty Cat. Let's just try and find Misty Cat right here. Where's Misty Cat? Where is Misty Cat? Here's Misty Cat, right? So if we're looking at Misty Cat over here, Misty Cat, he has only 1 accessory slot, right? Which means that you could do triple HP for Misty Cat, right? So you could have so Misty Cat's chest is always going to be HP, and then you could put an HP with these gloves, and you could put HP with the boots, right? And then have a good plus 12,000 HP stacked up on Misty Cat, which would then bring up this overall HP right here to about 20,000 HP, right? Which means that, like, when he's in C6 and the boss hits him, it's literally just going to be a little tickle. That's all it's going to be. It's just going to be a little tickle. It won't be nothing. But with flash wing more specifically, because flash wing has 2 accessory slots, it means that we can only have 2 HP slots with her gear. So The second HP slot would then be a foot armor. As you can see, once you have this thing plus 15, it will become 4,000, and then added with the chest, then you'd have plus 8,000 HP on top of her natural HP, and then the rest of the HP that she has, you'd have to add that in with substats, right? So as you can see with my one, here is a good attack one that kind of rolled into HP and gave me just a little extra boost. This one I didn't get. Oh, this one is already flat HP, so that's fantastic. This one doesn't have any HP, but I am going to be replacing this rune with this one, and this one does have the flat HP. Hopefully it'll roll into that. And then over here, as you can see, there's no flat HP. I wonder if I have another resistance one. I think I was only able to get, I do have two. This one doesn't have. So like once I farm up another accessory that has flat HP on the inside there with the effect resistance, then I'll add that in and then boost up my HP as well, right? So the only way with flashing for you to stack up on HP will be through the little substats, because she gets 2 accessory slots. But then that also just means that she's going to do much better in the PvP, because you can then have the 2 effect resistances and then just have like a hell of a lot of effect resistance, right? And then she's also going to work well with bosses that also do a lot of debuffs. So, you know, bosses that are going to give you they're going to hit you with the defense downs, and they're going to hit you with the poison. So in adventure, she's gonna flourish, because the bosses won't be able to really put any debuffs on her. She's going to be able to keep your team alive even in the harder fights. When you start getting to 10-7 hard, she's going to be performing really well. But then with the Skylanders like Misty Cat that have less accessories, then you can actually stack up on just raw HP and just be a full-on beastly tank. You know what I'm saying? So when building your healer, it's going to be very vital for you to first have a look at what kind of gear does that Skylander take, and then what kind of main stats are available for those gear slots. And then once we've determined that, right, then we can be like, okay, cool, this Skylander, I'm gonna build it more the PvP route or more the Cyclops route, and then I'm just gonna pick and choose which one I want, and then I'm gonna balance out the rest with the substats, right? So if I'm going for a full tank Misty Cat, full HP Misty Cat, I'm going to be adding in effect resistance within my substats. Every single piece of gear should have effect resistance, right? Should have probably a little bit of attack, flat attack in there. It should have effect resistance, maybe some evasion, right? Because you're gonna want evasion so that you can kind of start missing on bombs, so that the bombs don't land on you as often, because I think effect resistance won't necessarily work that well with bombs, but evasion will work better with bombs. So if you can find these legendary pieces that have the evasion substat in there, and also have maybe effect resistance and just a little bit of attack for your attack abilities, that's going to really help out your healers and make them super beefy and super slippery, so that they just don't die. So if we're having a look at my flash wing stats right here, you can see she's got 1,500 attack, over 1,100 defense, 12,000 HP. Once I've plus 15 this foot slot, it'll be about 13,000, bordering over to the 14,000 range. You can see evasion is still pretty low, and our effect resistance is still pretty low at 83%, because we still have to plus 15 a new item right here, and then that should bring her just above that 100% effect resistance, and then she should be pretty good to go. Currently in PvP, in C5, in adventure hard, Flashwing is literally always the last to die. with my build as it is currently. She's always the last to die. She does a decent amount of damage with her attack being this high, because I think pretty much a lot of the gear slots in there do have a lot of innate attack, so it does pretty well. She can pretty much solo Chompy as it is. I'll probably do a video, a really long or short fast forwarded video of her busy taking on Chompy solo, but she can't kill Chompy solo with my flash wing as it is right now. But once I've changed out that gear, then it should be better. So in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, for your healers, you're gonna go for one of the two options. You're gonna go for stacking HP or stacking effect resistance, and then making up the difference for HP loss or effect resistance loss in substats, and then you're gonna have a solid healer, and that's how you will get really far as a free-to-play non-compensation healer. Till the next video, guys. The next video that we're gonna drop in the gear series will be, or in this little gear discussion, will be for tanks, and I've got 2 tanks right here, so we'll just go and check them out, and just theory craft some more builds that could work with the tanks. And because it is tanks, we'll also include enchantments in there, which enchantments are going to work better, and we'll also probably just test out the reflection enchantment with the tanks in a PvP match. So until the next video, guys, have a lovely rest of the day or night or morning or whatever it is.